Good evening. You're listening to the Garden City Community Chat Show with your hosts Carrie, Tom, and Mike. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Well, hello, Garden City and all our surrounding neighbors. Let's give a shout out to Westland, Canton, Dearborn Heights, Dearborn, Livonia, Inkster, just to name a few. Welcome to episode number 685 of the Garden City Community Chat Show. Before we go any further, go Lions tonight. They are playing the Packers. So we're hoping for a Lions win. It's going to be a big one if they do, I'll tell you that. It is Thursday, December 5th, 2024. We're so happy you could be with us tonight. We hope you're all safe, warm, and doing well. I am your host, Carrie. Also joining me tonight is Garden City's very own meteorologist, Dr. Tom Mywinski. How you doing, Tom?
Trying to stay that four-letter word, warm. That's operative right there. We have been in the deep winter tundra over the last couple of days.
God. Is this a polar vortex or what?
Not really, but
close.
The season's young.
Mike, he may be a little late tonight if he even shows up. Kiwanis had a night meeting tonight, so hopefully he'll show up. Tom's going to be back here shortly with the current update on the forecast for us. Tonight, we have another good one for you. He is a first-time guest and a longtime follower of the show. Westland City Council President Mike McDermott. He'll be here. Really looking forward to chatting with Mike. So stay tuned for that. I also want to mention real quick, if you're watching us live on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and post your questions in the comments section, and we'll get those answered for you. You can also find us live right now on Facebook at facebook.com/GCChat, and over on our YouTube channel, just search for the Garden City Community Chat Show. You can also email your questions to us at gccommunitychat@gmail.com, and we'll do our best to get those answered as well. Remember, we're here to promote not only our community, but yours as well. And speaking of community, if your community organization, business or business has any events, announcements, or cancellations, all you have to do is send the details to us at gccommunitychat@gmail.com or message us on our Facebook page, and we'll be more than happy to pass that information along for you. Remember, you're always welcome to come on the show and promote your community, business, or organization anytime. We also encourage any local business to check out and join the Garden City Business Alliance. See what great things they can do for you. For more information, head on over to gardencitybusinessalliance.org. Okay, we're going to get Tom in here now with a check of the weather, and then we're going to spend some time chatting with our guest, Westland City Council President Mike McDermott. So stand by. Okay, let's do a check on weather with Dr. Tom. Let's see what he has in store for the rest of this week and the weekend coming up. Tom, take it away. So do we have any warm weather coming our way?
We're looking for it, and we'll probably get a little bit of it. But yeah, it's been pretty rough. It's been really Arctic air-like most recently. Yesterday evening was quite a bit of a change with a pretty good front that came through with a lot of wind and snow, and we've been just in winter, for lack of a better term. And this evening it's still kind of cold out there. We are sub-freezing at this point. We're well into the 20s, and winds have been decreasing throughout the day, but they were pretty strong, like I was saying yesterday evening, all day today, very blustery conditions. Luckily today we did see the sunshine, but it didn't really help too much. We stayed pretty much below freezing all day today. And overall, you can kind of see the overall look of temperatures are going to continue to bottom out into the lower 20s tonight, given that we're still going to probably see some mix of clouds and some stars out there tonight. We don't really have a whole lot in the way of any more snow to kind of filter in. We're a little bit of a break between all that. And as we get into the day on Friday, again, just like today, we could see some stray flurries coming through the mix. Not going to be accumulating by any means, but just kind of those lake effect kind of branches off that can filter all the way over to this side of the state as a possibility tomorrow. So we could see some snow flurries tomorrow, but again, those temperatures will be right around the freezing mark all day and not really get above freezing. So another cold day on tap as we go into the day on Friday to end the work week. And as we get into the weekend, things are going to start to change a little bit. We're going to warm it up a little bit as we go into Saturday. You see those winds, that wind direction at the bottom here, it changes to more of a southerly direction. This is what that means. So when it kind of orientates that pointing toward the temperatures, that means it's a southerly wind. So as we know, southerly winds will increase our temperatures. So we're going to get into the mid 30s as we go into Saturday. I know it's not much, but we will get above freezing at that point. And as we go into Sunday, given that the wind direction is still southerly, we're going to increase those temperatures to near 50. We're going to get into the mid to upper 40s for daytime highs. And as we get later into the night, Sunday night and into Monday, we're actually going to see a new system come in. And given the warmer temperatures, this is going to be a rain event instead of a snow event. So yeah, it is going to warm up a little bit as we get into Sunday and into Monday, which is going to bring us more rain than snow. I know that the last couple days and going all the way back to Thanksgiving really is when it started, this kind of winter time frame with a few inches of snow since the last time we spoke, and those colder temperatures moving in. But things are going to change a little bit. Again, as we go into Monday morning, we're going to still see a little bit of that rain early in the day, and then it kind of breaks up a little bit as we get into the afternoon hours. And overall, again, could be potentially again around 50 degrees as we go into Monday afternoon. So yes, it is going to warm up, and we're going to obviously see that snow beginning to melt, any lingering snow out there that is still out there at this point. Very light, but albeit a little bit. Other than that, as we go into Tuesday, the 10th, overall, again, you can kind of see the general look of temperatures getting into the 40s as we go into the afternoon hours. Again, could see a little bit of lingering kind of stray showers. It does want to get a little bit more in some of the snow action again as we go late in the day and into the overnight hours as those temperatures drop below freezing. But at this point, this isn't an organized system by any means. And again, it could be just some snow flurries kind of moving through the flow. So as we get into some colder air during the overnight hours, that is a possibility. And unfortunately, by the time we get into Wednesday, we are going to be seeing a little bit more in that potential for colder air moving in. So unfortunately, that cold front will be coming through. That's why it's going to bring in that colder air Tuesday night into Wednesday. And by the time we get into Wednesday afternoon, we're still going to be dealing with some much more colder air back into the region with temperatures hanging around the freezing mark. With, again, that possibility that we could see some stray flurries moving through, but it doesn't appear to be an organized accumulating snow system by any means. Then as we go into next Thursday, overall, you can see the general look of cold temperatures remaining into the mix, temperatures hanging around the freezing mark again. So by the time we get into this time frame, next time we speak, it's going to be another cold kind of setup still over the region. So getting back into kind of that Arctic air. And then we're going to kind of just fluctuate between that as we go into Friday the 13th. Overall, it's still going to remain fairly cold around the freezing mark. And then by the time we get into maybe the upcoming following weekend, getting a little bit warmer, given that, again, those southerly winds redeveloping, which will get us back into the lower 40s as we kind of start as we get toward mid-December. So overall, again, we're going to be just in and out of winter. We've been in it for over a week now. We are going to see some breaks of that, good on that part for Sunday and into Monday with that warmer air moving in. But I don't know if snow flares are definitely a possibility as we go into tomorrow, and maybe as we go into late Tuesday into Wednesday when some colder air comes back into the region. But it doesn't appear to be any accumulating snow events at this point. More rain than anything. So yeah, it's been rough, and we're going to see some hopes kind of developing into the forecast. Other than that, if we kind of expand outward and talk about some other stuff going on, you can see how active it's been, not just here, but all over the country with lake effect snow. It's been very prevalent across the UP of Michigan, over toward Traverse City and up toward Petoskey, and then down toward Grand Rapids and going all the way down into Michigan City as well. So as we know, the lake effect is very common this time of year. It's been very active this time of year. Some of these locations have been seeing over a foot, a couple feet of snow actually, and there's no surprise that over into Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York as well has been seeing significant lake effect snow as well. And overall, that has been a very big story over the last week or so. Other than that, that is kind of the bigger theme. There really isn't too much outside of that. You can kind of see how active the Great Lakes are, given that wind orientation, just filtering in that moisture and that lake effect snow. So we've been kind of more busy than anything else across the country. The other parts of the country really haven't been that busy. So other than that, you can also go into the climate data, which will just bring into how cold it's been today. We got around 19 degrees this morning. We got around 30 degrees today. And overall, it's just been a very raw kind of winter day out there. And other than that, we saw some very gusty winds near 40 miles an hour today. So it's been a very windy day on that tap as well. And overall, that is kind of where the weather has been. It's been a very active time for us in the winter department. But the good news is that it's going to start to lose our grip as we go into kind of late Sunday and into Monday with some more warmer air coming in. But winter is going to be like, oh, I'm coming back as we go into next week as well. So winter isn't fully here, but it's definitely previewing itself fairly well this week. So stay warm out there. If you want to keep tuned to all of my local weather information, just go to this website, DopplerTomsWeather.com, and it updates this current weather all 24/7 as we continue to dive into winter. We're starting to kind of close to the official start of winter as we get closer. So if this is an appetizer of what's to come, this could be a long winter for us. So we'll see kind of how that goes. But it's been a very active winter already.
I just wanted to give you an opportunity to comment on your light display that you have going on. Once again, there's the address, 31624 Maplewood. You seem to keep adding new stuff every year. It's amazing.
I gotta keep it fresh and new. You can't just keep it the same every year. It gets kind of boring. So yeah, each year I like to switch it up. And this year we do still have the igloo, which has been a very famous thing. And I did now add kind of a new interactive walkthrough maze, which can give you a new way of viewing the lights. It's been cold and windy and snowy, so I have seen some brave souls walking through my area as we kind of go through the last week or so. But yeah, there's also an opportunity that you could win some stuff as well if you brave the cold. So if you come to my display, you take a picture of you just enjoying it and just comment the post that is on there, the most current one, you'll have a chance to win an Amazon gift card. So feeling a little bit of that Christmas joy still and spreading the love this holiday season, because it's been a rough one weather-wise. So if you come out and enjoy it, you get a little bonus and that potential of winning something. So yeah, come on out and enjoy it. I do this every year, and it gets bigger every year, it seems. I don't know how it happens, but it just happens. So
Yeah, you do. You really do a great job. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you, are you eligible for the best decorated yard this year or no?
That is next year. I won in 2020, and and it's every 5 years if you win the
Okay.
top prize. So
Yeah, we didn't know if it was 3 or 5. So
yeah, it's 3 if you're an honorable mention, I think, and then it's 5 if you win the actual title of the most decorated house, I guess. But
okay, cool.
it doesn't matter either way. I don't really do it for that. I do it for the joy of it. Because,
enjoyment.
yeah. So either way, it's still a good time. So come on out and enjoy it. And this will be through the new year. So
yeah, you get an opportunity. Head on over to 31624 Maplewood, right across from Joe Barson's greenhouse, really,
mm-hmm.
on Maplewood.
And then it takes a village. That was our last week's or last time we were on.
Yeah.
Just across the street, that Maplewood Center is now that.
Yeah, Maplewood Center, right across the street. Yep. All right, sir. I will see you next week.
Go Lions.
Go Lions. Stay warm.
Absolutely. Take it easy.
All right, thanks. All right. Let's introduce our guest for tonight. He is visiting us for the first time. Please welcome Westland City Council President Mike McDermott. How you doing?
Hey, sir? I'm doing well, Kerry. Good evening. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great. Staying warm, staying busy.
Hey, it might be cold outside, but our Lions are red hot in Ford Field. 11-1. The Packers are 9-3. They're about to be 9-4. We're about to be 12-1. So it's going to be a good night tonight, I think.
Has it started yet?
It has not started. We're just getting ready for kickoff here. I've got it on the TV, so I was just looking up there. We're just getting ready for kickoff, and I'm all set with my number 90, my Ndamukong Suh throwback here tonight.
There you go. There you go. Well, thanks so much for being here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So how long have you been president of the council now?
So I was first elected to city council back in 2019, along with my colleague, Councilwoman Andrea Rakowski. I was newly elected city council president this year. So this is my first year serving as our council president. Previous to that, for my prior 4 years on council, Councilman Jim Hart was the council president. And, he was gracious enough to pass the baton along and, kind of help me out as I got my feet wet in the role. And my colleagues were, kind enough and gracious enough to put their faith in me and elect me as the city council president this year. But most of all, in last year's election in 2023, the voters in Westland saw fit to reelect me and give me another 4 years to be a public servant and continue to serve on the Westland City Council, which I'm always eternally grateful for.
Well, that's awesome. Now, your form of government's a little different than our form of government. You have a full-time mayor, but yet you run the council meetings, correct?
We do, yeah. So we have a full-time, what they call a strong mayor form of government, with a full-time mayor who manages kind of the day-to-day operations of the city. And at our council meeting, the mayor does not get a vote, unlike Garden City. Right. Our mayor doesn't get a vote. It's the 7 members that I serve with on council that get to vote. And our main responsibilities really are managing the budget and finances, taxpayers' money in the city, and managing the ordinances and laws and regulations in the city as well. Those are, some of our biggest responsibilities as a council.
Right. Mrs. Chat says, hello, Mike. Nice to meet you.
Well, hello. Good to meet you.
So it's probably not the biggest news in Westland, but the opening of Merriman Road Bridge was definitely big news, not only for Westland residents, but everybody that travels Merriman. Your thoughts?
Everybody.
A little slideshow here.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. What are your thoughts on this now?
Oh boy, lots of that's the key word. You stole the words out of my mouth. It was really unconscionable how long it took. The fact that we've almost built the Gordie Howe Bridge in the time that it took to build the Merriman Road Bridge is really incredulous. And I understand everybody's frustration with the county. I know that our county commissioner, Glenn Anderson, was up there advocating and lobbying, trying to get more updates and more information shared to residents. And I know that, both of our previous mayors, Mayor Londo and now our current mayor, Mayor Coleman, were pushing the county for regular routine updates. Sometimes, unfortunately, we just didn't get that. And we saw one delay after another with the Merriman Road project. So anybody that was upset that this took almost 2 years to complete has every right to be there. First, it was the county allegedly lost the blueprints for the original build out of the bridge. Then it was they found and discovered a sanitary sewer line that had to be relocated, and it just seemed like one delay after another. So that's in the past now. We're moving upward and onward. It's finally open. We can finally travel through the area. And as I understand, next is going to be the Wayne Road Bridge over there.
Yeah.
At the Wayne and Joy area. But yeah, it was disgracefully long time that it took the county to get this project done.
Now, are you a little surprised they didn't put a left turn lane in going into Hines?
I am, especially for, this time of year where they could really utilize one with the tree lighting and all the people that go to Hines Park for the tree lighting ceremony. That, oftentimes the traffic can back up there. A little bit surprised there. Wish they would have, but ultimately that's a county engineering decision, not a decision that the city of Westland gets to make.
Yeah. So you have several projects happening in your community. You want to share some with our listeners? And first off, you got a brand new fire station on Hawthorne Valley property there.
We sure do. It's a busy year for us, and it's going to be continuing on into 2025, a really busy and productive year for the city. So yeah, the first project up here is our brand new Fire Station 2. If you've driven down Merriman Road anytime, you've seen that we've got the old fire station there at Merriman and Ann Arbor Trail. That is the original Fire Station 2, and it's a pretty dated station. First off, it's way too small. It can't even house one of our big ladder trucks. So the big ladder fire trucks can't even fit in the station. So it's inadequate for that. When you look at the sleeping quarters for our guys who are over there working hard for us, it's got limited sleeping quarters. They're dated. It's old. So we're building a brand new state-of-the-art fire station that's scheduled to open up next year on the site of the Hawthorne Valley, the old Hawthorne Valley Clubhouse where the golf course was. It's going to be on the clubhouse site, and it's going to have, as you see there in the picture, 3 different bays, so 3 different garage doors to house our ladder fire trucks, to house all of our ambulance and EMS rescues. It's going to have our new fire administration building as well. So our fire administration, which was previously in an old building located on Marquette, is moving over there to the brand new Station 2. And what's really, really exciting about this project too, it's going to have a brand new fire training center and fire training tower. So not only are our Westland firefighters going to be able to get the best and most up-to-date training to keep themselves safe while they're out there on the job and keep all of us safe as residents, we're going to be able to partner with, our kids at the William D. Ford Technical Center and the fire training program, and partner with neighboring communities as well to do fire training service. So it's a really great opportunity to show off not only the station, but show off the world-class fire service and the men and women that we have in our fire service here in the city of Westland, with the brand new training center and training tower that's going in there at Station 2.
So what will happen to the old station now at Ann Arbor Trail, Merriman?
Yeah, so for the time being, it'll probably sit there. I think as a city, working with the administration, the city council, our fire chief, the union, Local 1279, we're going to have to make a decision on what we want to do with that property. Maybe demolish the station, maybe keep it there temporarily as some kind of a warming center. Who knows? Maybe it eventually does, get taken down and the property sold. But that's going to be something ultimately, because it is city-owned property, that we're going to have to decide on collectively.
Awesome. Very, very nice. I like that drawing for sure.
It's a great rendering. It's going to be a beautiful station.
You broke ground for the Nankin Square Park, right?
Yeah, we sure did. We just did this one back in October. This is going to be a brand new
new station, right?
It is. Yep. It's right there by Station 1. Yep. And so this Nankin Square Park is going to be a state-of-the-art kind of nature-themed, as you see there in the picture, nature-themed park and amphitheater. So it's going to be kind of a first of its kind for us here in the city of Westland. We are really excited to be able to have a whole array of city events over there, potentially, Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, summer concerts in the park, movie night in the park there. You see right there, that's going to be the amphitheater space that we have.
Wow.
With the beautiful Cicerelli Commons there. So yeah, we're really excited not only to have the amphitheater and some new programming space for our residents, but also to have that kind of nature theme to the park to really make it stand out and be a destination for not only our West End residents, from people all over Metro Detroit.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. And then this is the amphitheater up here. And then behind it, you can have food trucks, little picnic area.
Absolutely. Yep. There's going to be areas for kind of a food truck square there. The amphitheater's got a big lawn, which we're calling Cicerelli Commons, which is named after our retiring judge, Sandra Cicerelli. Sandra was also the mayor of the city of West End, served on council. So it's really a distinct honor to be able to name that square there after Judge Cicerelli. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting. We've already broken ground on it. They've actually put up quite a bit of the park already. So if you drive by it, you'll see a lot of exciting construction work happening there.
Yeah, a lot of big equipment over there.
Yep,
My
absolutely.
wife's been going to PT right there.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to mention about it too is this is actually going to be paid uniquely out of money from Wayne County, the grant money from Wayne County, and then TIFA tax dollars. So we have a zone there up by the West End Mall called the Tax Increment Finance Authority, the TIFA district, which is actually going to be covering a lot of the costs for this brand new park that we're building. So your general fund tax dollars, it's actually going to come specifically out of the TIFA budget and not just your general fund tax dollar budget. So that's really exciting for that as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. All right. Now we wanted to cover a few other things here before we get into any of your events that you have coming on. Covenant House, you did and I have a quick video here that I wanted to play that you recorded. If you don't mind,
that'd be great. Yeah, please do. Thank you. Hey everyone, it's your Westland City Council member, Councilman Mike McDermott. And you might be wondering why I'm sitting out here in my backyard in front of my garage in the freezing cold weather with my tent and my sleeping bag. Well, that's because tonight I am doing the annual Sleep Out for Homelessness Awareness from Covenant House in Covenant House, Michigan. Homelessness affects over 650,000 people across America. We have families, kids, moms and dads, veterans who are out on the streets without anywhere to go and a place to call a home. And I think in the wealthiest nation on earth, with multiple billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, I think it is a moral sin that we allow homelessness in this country, the United States of America, the wealthiest nation on earth. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is I'm joining thousands of people across the country. I know that our own planning and building director, Mo Ayoub, is doing this as well to raise awareness for homelessness and to help combat homelessness here in Michigan and across the country. We're doing it on behalf of Covenant House and Covenant House of Michigan. If you want to know how you can help out, you can also do the Sleep Out, which starts tonight and goes all the way through into the next morning. You can go out and get your tent, put it in your yard and sleep out. You can find a place in your community where you feel safe to sleep out. And we're really trying to help raise awareness to the scourge that is homelessness. You know, I'm only doing this for one evening. There are many Americans who have to face this each and every day throughout their lives, and it's morally wrong. So join me and join thousands of your fellow Americans across the country as we fight against homelessness. You can donate at covenanthouse.org in the fight against homelessness, and you can join us tonight in the Sleep Out against homelessness. Again, that website to donate is covenanthouse.org. I've also provided it in the link below on the Facebook post. So I'll be sleeping outside tonight, got my tent, got my sleeping bag, and, you know, we're raising awareness for the hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 650,000 Americans, families, children, moms and dads and veterans who have to sleep out on the streets each and every night of the week. And that is just morally wrong. We have to end the scourge of homelessness. In the wealthiest nation on earth, right here in the United States, I believe we can do it. So again, thank you for your appreciation. Thank you if you choose to donate. Again, go to covenanthouse.org to donate as we sleep out to fight and end homelessness in America. Thank you.
Well, I commend you for doing that. And
Thank you.
$650,000 is just, or not dollars. That is unacceptable.
It really is unacceptable. It's morally wrong. I also want to shout out, it was mentioned in the video, our building and planning director in the city of Westland, Mo Ayoub, also went out and did the homelessness sleep out. And what really bothers me about this issue is that we have over 800 billionaires in the United States. And it's an issue of wealth and income inequality as much as it is homelessness. And, the billionaire elite in our country, they control 30% of the nation's wealth. That's $44.6 trillion. Whereas the bottom 50% of the working class, that's all of us. We're all working class, hardworking folks in Garden City and Westland, Inkster, Romulus, all across, Metro Detroit, Wayne County. The bottom 50% only control 2.6% of the wealth. So we have 800 billionaires controlling 30% of the nation's wealth at $44.6 trillion. I don't know about you, but I think, with an adequate tax system where we tax the billionaire class, we can end the scourge of homelessness, and we can provide adequate, affordable, safe housing for everyone. And the thing for me with homelessness too, which I think we have to keep in mind, is that we have to look at the individual reasons as why someone might be homeless. Homelessness is not a monolith. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. We have folks who are moms and dads, who are, mentally disabled or may have some kind of disability or brain health issue. We have veterans that suffer from PTSD who are homeless. And we have to look at all the different reasons as to why someone may be facing homelessness. And we have to tackle not only the fact that they are homeless, but the challenge facing them behind that. If you have a brain health issue or a mental illness, or if you've just fallen on hard times with your, economic luck, we have to look at those reasons as to why a person is homeless and tackle those challenges as well. And when we have a country where the billionaire class and the wealthy elite control 30% of our nation's wealth, where the top 1%, the richest 1%, control 21% of all income in the United States, I think we can do a heck of a lot more to tackle the scourge of homelessness and make sure that everyone has adequate, safe, and affordable housing.
Yeah.
And so I was really proud to do this Sleep Out fundraiser, not for myself, but for the folks that face chronic homelessness night in and night out. I did this one night and I had a tent and a sleeping bag. There are people that have a heck of a lot less than what I was afforded to. And, unlike me, where I could walk back up and go into my house in the morning, this is what people live with each and every day. So, as I mentioned probably a dozen times or more in that video, folks really want to help out. They can go to covenanthouse.org and support the Covenant House organization to make a donation to help fight end homelessness. And they can also, advocate for they can advocate to their elected leaders. We've got some good ones here in our area representing Westland, Garden City. We've got our state representative, Dylan Wigella, who's doing a heck of a job. State Representative Peter Hersberg, our Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, who's been a big advocate in that as well. But call your elected leaders in Lansing, call your elected leaders in Washington, D.C., and demand better policy. Demand that we have an adequate tax system so that the wealthy elite in the billionaire class are not controlling 30% of the nation's wealth and really, stifling the working class like us. And tell them to support policies that not only help to end homelessness, but do things to tackle our mental health system here in the state of Michigan and across the country, to expand access to healthcare with a, Medicare for all universal system of healthcare where it's a basic human right, to tackle food insecurity and address the issues that are behind the cause of homelessness itself. So it really starts not only by supporting organizations like Covenant House, but supporting better policies so that the billionaire class and the wealthy elite aren't controlling 30% of the nation's wealth. It's just obscene.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
It really is. By the way, 7-0 Lions. They just scored.
Yay. How'd they score?
David Montgomery ran in a touchdown, it looks like.
I like him. He's a tank.
Hey, when you've got him on your fantasy team, that always helps too.
Yeah, both of them for sure.
Yep, so I'll take it.
All right, Mike, let's move on to the next one here. DTE, accountability and the need for creating a public power initiative having public utilities.
Yeah, so this is really a pain point for folks across Westland and really across all of Metro Detroit.
Really is.
Anybody who's lived here for any amount of time understands just how unreliable DTE has been, and it's really unacceptable. A couple of stats for you. According to some folks who are a lot smarter than me that I've talked to, Amy Bandick and Doug Juster at the Michigan Citizens Utility Board, they've got some stats that show we are 41st in the nation in terms of power grid reliability here in Michigan. And as if that wasn't enough, not only are we 41st in the country in reliability, we're 33rd in terms of the costs we pay. So we are paying high costs for an unreliable grid. And what do we get out of this from DTE? Well, we get a $35 bill credit. I'm sorry, but if you're out of power for a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, like a lot of people are here in Westland and across Western Wayne County, did you only throw out $35 worth of groceries?
Don't insult me. Don't insult me.
No, don't insult me. If you had to stay at a hotel room because you're out of power for days at a time, was that only $35? If you have a disability or something that requires medication or medical equipment to be powered up, that'll really negatively impact you as well. So, DTE offers you a $35 bill credit for being out of power. And when I talk to Amy and Doug and folks at the Citizens Utility Board, what we really need to do is revamp that. I think for every hour that you're out of power, you should get between a $2 to $4 bill credit. So it should be a rolling tally here. You're out of power for an hour, you get a bill credit for that hour that you're out. That's just the way it works because power is the service you're paying DTE for. So we should all get a little bit of money back here when you are out of power. So yeah, it's disgraceful how bad it's gotten. I will give DTE some credit here. I've had the chance to talk with their team. They did do an open house in Westland to try to be a little more transparent with some of the upgrades that they're making in the grid. But, they're trimming more trees. They're trying to address the infrastructure, the substations, the power lines to make it more reliable. But we have just dealt with this unacceptably poor performance, 41st in the nation in terms of grid reliability.
Terrible.
And
trimming trees, that's another sore subject with a lot of people. They're not trimming them. They're mutilating them. I mean, some of these trees are terribly, terribly trimmed.
They are. You'll see, one side of the tree trimmed down and the other side not trimmed. And I understand that, Davy Tree Service, the guys working the power lines, the guys trimming the trees, the men and women doing that, they're working hard. And we know that this isn't their fault. Our utility workers and the Utility Workers Union, the men and women that work for Davy, no blame to them at all. But when you have, a CEO like Jerry Norcia at DTE and some of their corporate executives who are making compensation upwards of $3.5 million a year.
Oh, yeah.
And yet they're going to the Michigan Public Service Commission year in and year out, asking for 6, 8, 10, 12% rate increases. That's really unacceptable.
And they rubber stamp it. They rubber stamp it all the time.
They sure do. They sure do. And that's something we all need to pay attention to. And that, me in a unique position as an elected official, we need to really advocate and speak out about and show the public like this is what DTE is doing. And we need to get, better service. And every time they go to the Michigan Public Service Commission, demand that they show us all the infrastructure improvements they make before they even get a rate increase.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing I wanted to plug on this matter. Our state representative here in Westland has been working really hard on this issue in fighting back against DTE. State Representative Dylan Wagella has a bill called Taking Back Our Power. It's being sponsored by some other legislators up in Lansing as well. And what it would do is prevent our utility companies, DTE, Consumers Energy, from donating to our elected officials and making campaign contributions. Because the people that we're supposed to regulate up in Lansing with the Public Service Commission and with our state legislatures shouldn't be taking money from our big power companies and our utility companies. So I'm in full support of the Taking Back Our Power bill from State Representative Dylan Wagella. I hope that they get it passed here in the lame duck session of the House, but call your state representatives up there in Lansing, call your state senators, call the governor's office and advocate for the Taking Back our power bill so that DTE consumers can't buy off our politicians and, make donations.
Yeah. Going back to the taxing the billionaires and millionaires, Mrs. Chatz says, sadly, fair taxation will probably not happen. The rich just keep getting more tax breaks while we pay more. And unfortunately, with the incoming administration, you're not going to see it.
No, I agree with that. And unfortunately, we saw last time that, President-elect Trump was in the White House. He cut taxes for the wealthiest, 1%, 5%, and 10%. And there were minuscule tax cuts for the working class like us. And I think you're going to see an extension, unfortunately, of those tax cuts for big corporations and the billionaire elites. What I think we really need to do is have a progressive tax code where if you make a little more, you pay a little more to help out society. I believe that very simple premise, if you consider yourself religious and if you think of America as wanting to be a Christian nation, I think we're a nation where everybody should be able to be free and practice their beliefs. But if you think of America as a Christian nation, it says in the Bible that it is harder for a rich man to enter through into the kingdom of God than it is for a camel to go through the eye of a needle. In Proverbs, it says, he who lends himself to the poor lends himself to the Lord. So if we're going to operate as a Christian nation, then our tax system ought to reflect that. And, not only the billionaire elites, but, multimillionaires and those making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year should pay a little bit more in terms of income taxation. I think we need a fair, equitable tax code for the working class when it comes to a capital gains tax. We know that a lot of rich people often make their money off of stocks and bonds and mutual funds and investments, and that the wealthy elite should be paying more in terms of investment taxation as well through a capital gains tax. And I also just think that it's fundamentally and morally wrong to even allow billionaires to exist in the first place. And that's why I've been a big advocate for something like a wealth tax that folks like, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, who have been advocating for, so that we have a total tax on the wealth of the billionaire elites. Again, we talked about and touched on some of the statistics earlier that, the top 1% in this country have 21% of all the income. They've grabbed the, $42 trillion worth of wealth. They control 30% overall of the nation's wealth. And, if we just adequately tax the 801 billionaires that we have here in this country, we could do things like end homelessness, like we were just talking about, solve food insecurity so that kids don't go to bed hungry, tackle the challenges of mental health care and our inadequate mental health system, provide a universal system of health care. So, I think one of the things that we've got to stay away from is this divisive argument on us versus them when it comes to immigrants and undocumented people. A lot of times folks think that, well, it's because immigrants and undocumented folks are getting all these handouts and stuff. But when you compare what we give helping undocumented folks to the amount of taxes that the wealthy elite of the billionaire class don't pay, and the tax that we give to big corporations, and I'll give you an example of that. Right here in Michigan alone, and this is on my own side as a Democrat, Governor Gretchen Whitmer gave out over $4 billion in corporate handouts and corporate welfare subsidies to big corporations here. So when we look at where the income inequality really exists, it's not because we're helping out undocumented families and folks. It's because the wealthy elite and the billionaire class are ripping us off by cheating the tax code, by gaming the system, by getting corporate welfare handouts, by outsourcing our jobs to China and Mexico, and as opposed to paying American workers and good paying union jobs here a living wage, they're going over and taking jobs to China and shipping jobs overseas to pay workers less, but then they're still not paying more into the tax code to help us all. So there's really this mythology of trickle-down economics where if we just cut taxes for the wealthy elite at the top, the money will trickle down to the rest of us. And that's simply not true. So I would caution folks who want to rail against undocumented folks and really look at where we're really getting ripped off at. And that's by the wealthy elite and the billionaire class.
Yeah. The next one, income inequality. I think we pretty much covered that.
Yeah, no, we get that.
Yeah. Public safety staffing in Westland. What's that all about?
Yeah, so another big issue for us here in Westland is public safety staffing. In 2008, 2009, after Wall Street crashed the economy in the Great Recession, a lot of communities across the area and across the state, Westland, Garden City, Inkster, took a big hit to their local city budgets. And unfortunately, one of the things that suffered as a result of that was public safety staffing. Some communities had to engage in layoffs. Westland, we didn't directly do layoffs, but indirectly through attrition, we lost a lot of hardworking, dedicated men and women in our police department and in our fire department who just weren't replaced when they retired. So we've been working hard over the last number of years to kind of reverse that trend in terms of public safety staffing. We have, I think, our highest staffing levels at the fire department that we've had in a very long time in the city of Westland. We're up to 91 guys in fire suppression and leadership. So that's everybody from our firefighters, paramedics, EMS, our deputy chiefs, and our fire chief as well. We're up to 91 guys. The city council has worked really hard to partner with not only Mayor Coleman's administration, but also with the previous administration, Mayor Londo, and to partner with our union at Local 1279 to reverse this trend and get us up to 91 guys staffed. So we want to keep us there. We want to make sure that this upcoming, contract that our fire department has, the collective bargaining contract, is a fair and equitable one for them. So we don't go backwards and lose guys. We want to make sure that we have a, great pay, great benefits, secure retirement, safe working conditions for them so that we can keep all of those 91 guys on staff here in Westland, because we really do have the best fire department in the state. It's not cliche. I've had the chance to go and do a ride along for 24 hours with our fire department, and I got to see, just a small snippet of the hard work they do each and every day in our Westland Fire Department, and we don't want to go backwards on that. Same thing with our police department. Yeah, right. Same thing with the PD. We're about 3 men and women away from being fully staffed at 82 officers in the police department. At one time, we had upwards of 101 police officers, but again, through the Great Recession, we lost a lot of hardworking men and women. So, I know that our police chief, Kyle Dolly, and his team are working really hard. The Westland Police Department recruitment team is working really hard to get that number fully staffed to 82 guys. And hopefully, at some point, we're going to be able to say we're fully staffed there as well. But they're working really hard there. And, really proud of the work we've done as a city council, as an administration, and how far we've come.
Yeah, that's good. Now, Westland's what, the 5th largest city in Michigan?
No, not quite. We are, I think, number 11 now. We used to be the 10th largest. We may have been passed as of the latest census and dropped down to number 11. We're not quite there, but you know what? The real problem is when you look at some of our neighboring communities, Dearborn has 140 police officers and I believe upwards of 120 firefighters. Canton Township has upwards of 100 police officers and firefighters on staff. So Westland's population is not that far behind where Canton Township, where Dearborn, where Livonia is at. But when you look at public safety staffing, we're quite a bit behind where some of those communities are at. So that's why it's so critically important to get up to that 91 number and keep us there for the fire department, to get up to that number of 82 and keep us there in the Westland Police Department, because we have, double the run volume in both police and fire that Canton, that Dearborn, that Livonia has. And we're doing it with a third the less, men and women. So we're running them ragged, and it's a tough business out there in Westland. And we're certainly grateful for, all the work they do. And that's why getting to those staffing levels and growing that is going to be so, critically important.
Yeah.
And the thing that I always tell folks, I have the chance to go around and knock doors year round and talk to Westland residents, even when I'm not on the ballot or up for election. And when I'm at the doors listening to folks and hearing their concerns, public safety is almost always a top concern or in the top 3 of what folks are telling me. And what I always say back to folks is, you get the service that you pay for. And so we want to make sure that we are not only adequately staffing, but adequately paying these men and women and affording them a good living wage that is competitive with what our neighboring communities go, so that we're not just a training ground where they come here in Westland, gain a little bit of experience, and then hop over to somewhere else that is offering pay or benefits, because we're working these guys, twice as hard as they're working in some of these other communities. So I always tell my residents, the service that you demand as a resident and you expect, we got to be able to pay for that service as well. So what kind of service do you want to pay for ultimately?
Yeah, right. Starting a public health department in Westland. You'd kind of like to see that.
I would love to see that. So I think public safety can't be talked about just in a vacuum. It has to be talked about alongside public health. When the police department is going out there and making a response, sometimes there's just a horrible situation where they've got to go in, make the arrest, and take the bad guy off the street. But sometimes when they're responding to someone who's experiencing a mental health crisis. Right. Or when our fire department is responding, they may be responding to someone who they've seen 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times in the matter of a month or 2 months. And we have to look at each of those unique situations and go, how can we better address and adequately and appropriately to respond to that person's needs? So one of the things we're already doing, our previous police chief in Westland got a mental health program started, a kind of a trauma response, crisis response program started in the city of Westland. And we hired both a mental health clinician, a social worker, Jennifer Grismala, and a substance use disorder specialist. So our PD has been kind of ahead of the curve in terms of the mental health aspect to policing. And I know that that's something our current police chief, Kyle Dolly, has really advocated as well. And our Westland Police Union has, fought for and advocated too. So the response to policing can't just be arrest a bad guy, take him off the street. When someone is experiencing a mental health crisis, a brain health issue, we have to be able to respond in kind with a mental health clinician to address that situation. I want to take it one step further and not just have a social worker to respond or a substance use specialist to respond to somebody who has an addiction problem. I want a full service public health department. I was actually inspired by this idea based on Mayor Abdullah Hammoud in the city of Dearborn. He has restarted the Dearborn Public Health Department. And I think we can do that here in Westland. And what I really want to offer is kind of the full wellness perspective for our residents. So the way I kind of envision this is you have a public health director at the top who kind of looks at all the data that we have from the police department, from the fire department, and kind of gathers new data from going out there and talking to residents to look at data around obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, mental health information. Not to say that, the government's going to sit here and monitor and collect your data, but just to get some information to know a little bit more about the overall public health in Westland, and then start to implement programs and hire people who can address those public health needs here in our city. So you've got your public health director at the top. I'd love to fold in our current social work program in the police department and our substance use program in the police department to help folks who are battling a brain health issue, mental illness, a drug addiction, or maybe alcoholism, to help get them the help they need as well. The other thing I'd like to do is have kind of a traveling nurse, so to speak, or a community paramedic who works with our fire department. As I mentioned, we've got folks that we see 2, 3, 4, 5 times a month with our fire department. And if we can send out a traveling nurse after the fire department goes out and pays a visit to that person, we can send that nurse out there to maybe ask that person, okay, what's the reason that you've had to call, emergency services 4 times in the past month? Are you not taking your medication? Is it an issue of affordability where you can't afford your medicines? Is it you've got an underlying condition that we can help address? So maybe we can send out a traveling nurse there to get that person on a regular regimen for taking their medication responsibly and on time. If it's an affordable issue, maybe we can set them up with a prescription drug program to help low-income folks or low-income seniors with affording their medication. So having someone like that can do a home visit as a part of a broader public health department, I think would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds awesome. Taking action on climate change in Westland. You want more of a greener city, I would imagine.
We do. I think everybody, whether you're Democrat or Republican, independent, or just apolitical, wants a healthy environment and a healthy climate. I believe for a long time that climate change, human-caused climate change, is one of the most existential threats that we face. And I think everything else
out there, though.
It is.
Yeah.
Everything topples downhill after that. If we don't have a healthy and stable climate and planet to live on, then everything else is going to have I think a negative downward spiral and downward effect. So yes, I think that here in the city of Westland, by no means do I think our city is going to solve climate change. That's just not realistic to expect one city.
We can all do our part.
We sure can. We can do our part. And some of our neighboring communities are doing stuff. Royal Oak has implemented a climate action plan. Ann Arbor has implemented a climate action plan. Ann Arbor is also looking at the idea of a publicly owned utility where we would have a public power utility to replace DTE and move to a more cost-effective, cheaper, and more green, climate-friendly utility service. And what I'd love to see us do here in Westland is kind of follow the model that some of these other communities are doing. First off, get a climate action plan in place where we know what our carbon footprint is as a city, where we know kind of our energy efficiency and where we can do better there. We did do a energy efficiency plan a few years back here in Westland, and that was great to see. But I'd like to fold that in as a part of a broader climate action plan to look at what our city's carbon footprint is. And then from there, we can look at what investments, what changes we can make as a city government to make our city more environmentally friendly and sustainable, whether that's things like installing solar panels and solar energy, purchasing more hybrid vehicles as a part of our city fleet. There's any number of things that we can do. And if we have a robust climate action plan to tackle climate change and address that here in Westland, we can start looking at some of those solutions because everybody wants clean air, clean water, and a healthy planet. And without that, it all goes downhill from there.
Right. I do have a comment here. Mrs. Chat says, you have so many great community initiatives. Does Westland interact with surrounding communities to possibly work together to assist each other? It takes a village to bring changes, which is a good point. I mean, I think Garden City would be willing to maybe work together on a public health department or something like that.
It does take a village, and we do partner with our neighboring communities. First and foremost, I know that our council members and our Mayor Coleman have great relationships with folks on other city councils and other, mayors and township supervisors in the local area. The city of Westland belongs to something called the Conference of Western Wayne County. So it's kind of a Western Wayne County working group where all elected officials from the neighboring communities, from Westland, Garden City, Inkster, Canton Township, Livonia, Northville Township, partner together on initiatives and ideas to help benefit all of our communities here in Western Wayne County and improve the quality of life for all of us. We also belong to something called SEMCOG, which is the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, which is another kind of working group for all the local cities here in Metro Detroit. So yeah, to your onlookers comment there, I really appreciate that because it does take a village. And we are doing quite a bit through SEMCOG and the Conference of Western Wayne to partner with neighboring communities and get stuff done. And yes, if Garden City, if Inkster, if Canton Township, if Livonia were willing to partner in on a public health department, I'd love to get that idea off the ground. It's an A+ idea.
Great. Yeah, maybe we form some kind of a task force or something with the communities. I mean, involve the residents as well. I'd love to be on some kind of committee like that.
Absolutely. We have lots of boards and commissions here in Westland, and maybe, I've brought up the idea of starting a public health department, but also a public health board, because without hard work and dedicated residents who serve on these boards and commissions and contribute their ideas, we don't know what we don't know. We certainly don't have all the ideas. So it takes a village, it takes a community to really tackle these underlying problems.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to the state of the Detroit sports teams, the Lions, the Pistons, the Red Wings, the Tigers. So let's
Yep.
say the Lions are doing great. Pistons have improved. Red Wings, not so much. Tigers are doing great.
You know what? Let's start with the Lions. Let's get the easy one out of the way first. It's funny. We used to joke about the Ford family being the most inept ownership group here in Westland, and we used to dog out old man Ford because
it took a woman to turn it around.
It did. It took a woman. It took Sheila Ford Hamp, and she's doing an A+ job there. I'm 37 years old, so I lived through the era of the big buck Wayne Fonts and Barry Sanders, where we'd make the playoffs one year and miss it the next. Wayne Fonts always seemed to pull a rabbit out of the hat every time he was about to get fired and somehow managed to make the playoffs, but we still couldn't win a playoff game. And then, as we know, after Fonts, we went through Bobby Ross and then the Matt Millen era of the doldrums. A dark decade of Marty Morningweg and Steve Mariucci and Rod Marinelli and Joey Harrington and Jeff Garcia and John Kitna and quarterback of the month. We don't need to relive that. We're in a new era now. We're in the grit era of Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and the team that they've really built here and Sheila Ford Hamp.
For him.
And we've got a hell of a roster right now. Tell you what, I'm not used to this good drafting that we're doing. It's like, what's this? All the draft picks made the team. We found a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 5th round, and he's hit. Yes. I'm used to other teams doing this, so it's really exciting. We're up 7-0 right now, going into the start of the second quarter. We're 11-1. We were a game away from the Super Bowl last year. A couple of Josh Reynolds drop passes and a Jahmyr Gibbs fumble away, and a Kindle Vildor doink off the mask away from being in the Super Bowl. But we're going to get back there this year. I have the supreme confidence in our Lions. And hey, what a season by the Tigers too, right?
Oh my gosh. Nobody would have guessed them to close out the season like that.
Absolutely not. For this team to go from dang near the bottom of the AL Central to making the playoffs, that last month and a half is incredible, wasn't it?
Incredible.
And Scooble to be Cy Young, that was great too.
Yeah, that was awesome. And here's another, the excuses of rebuilding. We're rebuilding. I'm sick of hearing rebuild. The Wings are rebuilding. They were supposed to be very competitive this year. Yeah. And they're not. They're not competitive.
Yeah. We're 7 years into the Iser plan, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And it's been disappointing. The last couple of years under Kenny Howland weren't what we thought they were. He made some bad free agent signings with guys like Franz Nielsen getting, 6-year contracts of upwards of, or 5-year contracts of upwards of $6 million a year. Darren Helm, Justin Abdelkader getting big contracts. So Kenny, left us for Edmonton, and we brought back Stevie Y, and we haven't gotten the results we wanted. Last year we thought we were going to make the playoffs, and then we hit that slump at the end of the season. Just at the wrong time, and Washington Capitals ended up making it in over us. And then we got off to a slow start this year. So yeah, it's tough, like you said, to hear the R word, rebuild, and have patience. The other thing though, that
I'm running out of patience.
I get it. You and me both. But what we do have to acknowledge with the Red Wings is we had the worst draft lottery luck of almost any team in NHL history. We didn't get a number 1 pick overall, so we missed out on getting all the Connor McDavids and Leon Draisaitl's and Macklin Celebrinis and Connor Bedard's. So that kind of set us back a little bit. But, some of the free agent moves I haven't been completely sold on. Ben Sherratt, Jeff Petry's been a complete disaster. Ville Husso in net has been a complete disaster. So I'm not sitting here saying fire Yzerman before someone puts it in your chat that says, Council President McDermott wants Yzerman gone. I'm not saying that, but the patience is wearing a little thin here on this rebuild.
Well, yeah, I ask everybody, if we don't make the playoffs again this year, is it time for Steve to go? I know the coaches are probably going to be gone.
It's not time for Stevie Y to go yet. I want to give him some more time, but Derek Lalonde, for sure, I think has to go. And I was kind of disappointed that when the Bruins fired Jim Montgomery, he got scooped up by St. Louis. I would have liked to have maybe pulled the trigger then to bring him in here, because I think he's a quality, outstanding coach. But Derek Lalonde, he's on a really short leash right now.
Real short. Well, I don't know. All right, well, we'll move on. The last thing is upcoming city events in Westland. What you got?
Well, one thing I wanted to just touch on with the sports thing as well. Nobody expected Michigan to beat Ohio State last week.
Oh my God, yes.
13-10.
Go
13-10.
Blue.
Everybody counted them out. Go Blue. I've been a Michigan fan since the days of Charles Woodson,
Oh, yeah.
in the
Long
Lloyd
time.
Carr days when I was a kid. So, you know what? For Ryan Day to be 1-5 and have lost the last 4 to Michigan, there's not much sweeter than that. So, as they say,
Oh.
it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine.
It was too bad that, what happened at the end of the game there, but hey, I understand,
It was an unfortunate situation. You'd certainly like to see more professionalism
Right.
from all sides involved, Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah, I agree. Mrs. Chat's got one more. Going back
Yeah.
to the billionaires.
Shoot.
When a guy can spend $10 million on a banana that's duct taped to a wall and call it art, how disgusting is that?
Yep. It's really disgusting when people have these mega yachts where we have people starving and homeless out on the streets. It's really unconscionable that we allow that in the wealthiest nation on earth, what we allow the billionaire wealthy elites to get away with.
And let's not forget about the entertainers. Let's not forget about Taylor Swift. She become a billionaire this year.
Yeah.
You got
and
your
she should be paying more
Beyonce.
too.
They have the money too.
Yep. It's not just about the Elon Musks and the Bill Gates, the Taylor Swifts, the Beyonce celebrities that are becoming billionaires ought to be paying more in taxes as well to make sure we have an equitable system that works for working class people like us.
Right. They're all making money off of us. So step up and share the wealth, right?
I agree. I agree with her point. If you can buy a banana taped to a wall and call it art for $10 million,
really is.
We can feed the homeless. And house them.
So what about upcoming events in Garden City? Anything coming up?
Yeah, we've got a lot of great stuff going on here in Westland. I wanted to give a big shout out to one event that just happened that you can actually still volunteer on and contribute towards. That was the Westland Goodfellows. They had their partnership with the Westland Police Department and the Stuff a Squad Car event. That was up on Black Friday over at Meyer, and that was a tremendous event. Each year, the Westland Police Department does their Stuff a Squad Car event to benefit the Westland Goodfellows No Child Without a Christmas campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And that's to make sure that every kid in Westland has something to open up on Christmas. This year, they filled up 24 shopping carts worth of toys and gifts for kids here in Westland. And one thing that I always love to promote is people brought stuff and came out with gifts for the older kids as well. Lots of people bring gifts for the little kids, the younger kids under 10, but the older kids need something as well, the teenagers. And people showed up in force to fill up 24 shopping carts. So I want to give a shout out to our Westland Police Department, in specific, our Deputy Chief Bob Wilkie, Sergeant Jeff Capodra, Sergeant Brandon Paris, our community police officers, Knopp and Pluffchamp. They did a great job. They were out there freezing their butt off, collecting toys for a good cause for the Westland Goodfellows. So that event is in the past. However, the Westland Goodfellows are still organizing for their No Child Without a Christmas campaign. Okay. You can come up this Saturday in the morning to the Jefferson Barnes Vitality Center in Norwayne, and you can help them bag up the gifts and get them sorted and sent out to the families for pickup for the families that registered. And you can also donate online at westlandgoodfellows.org and donate to the Westland Goodfellows, because all the work that you see now during the Christmas season, it requires tons of work and a lot of money and resources well before the Christmas season gets started. So my colleague on our city council, Council President Pro Tem Melissa Sampe, actually took on a new role this year as the co-president of the Westland Goodfellows. So she's been putting in a lot of work to organize, to fundraise, along with the great team that's already been in place, Rhonda and everybody else at the Westland Goodfellows. So if you want to support them, you can show up this Saturday morning at the Jefferson Barnes Community Vitality Center in Norwayne. That's on Dorsey Street. And you can help to bag and sort the presents for the kids who are going to be getting gifts for the families. And you can also, if you can't make it out on Saturday morning, you can go to westlandgoodfellows.org and please donate, because this is a year-round effort that requires year-round fundraising and a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars that go into support our Westland Goodfellows and the great work that they're doing here.
That's great. That's awesome.
The other event that I wanted to denote is we have got our Small Business Saturdays going on every day through the Christmas season. We've got our Shop and Dine district in the city of Westland. You can come out and not only go to Westland Mall, but you can support dozens and dozens of great businesses with unique gifts to buy for everyone on your Christmas list and everyone in the family. If you're looking for that music lover on your list, you can stop over at Vinyl People Records and support Brian and his business. You can go to Time Blaster Toys and find some unique toys over there. If you're out shopping and you're hungry, there's just dozens of restaurants in Westland in our Shop and Dine district along Warren Road and all across the city where you can get a bite to eat, whether you're stopping in for a quick slice of pizza at Slice of the 80s or Mangia or Vizzy's, or maybe you want to sit down and have a nice meal at Texas Roadhouse, Longhorn, Chatters, DeLuca's, Angelo Brothers. Make sure to support your local businesses here in Westland. I know everybody likes to go on Amazon or, Walmart.com or Target or something and support a business, buy online because it's cheaper. But don't forget about the great local businesses that we have here in Westland. It's Small Business Saturdays going on each and every Saturday from now through the end of the Christmas shopping season. So when you shop local and support the many hardworking, dedicated local business owners here in Westland as well. And then the other thing I wanted to give a shout out for is if you've driven through Hines Park, once again, it's the Wayne County Light Fest that's going on. So you can travel through Hines Park and go out and enjoy the Wayne County Light Fest. And it's especially easy to access this year because, as we talked about, Merriman Road Bridge is finally freaking open.
And it's still only $5.
And it's still only $5 to go in. It's a really cheap, great way to entertain the whole family.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, look, it's really been a pleasure chatting with you, Mike. Keep up the good work. You're not only a great president of the city council, but you're a fantastic ambassador for Westland. And I really appreciate you coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I hope to be back in the future. I'll be listening and watching in the meantime. If folks want to get a hold of me too, I've got a Facebook page at Councilman Mike McDermott that they can find me on Facebook. They can shoot me an email to my city email address that you see there on the screen, mmcdermott@citywestland.com. And I also make it a point to give out my personal cell phone number. You can call or text me if you have a city issue or something that you need addressing at 734-890-2146. And really appreciate you having me on, Carrie. Hope that you and everybody out there watching has a great and wonderful Merry Christmas and holiday season, no matter what you celebrate. I personally will not only be celebrating Christmas, but I celebrate the Seinfeld holiday of Festivus as well. And I do an annual airing of the grievances on my Facebook page. And as Frank Costanza said, I've got a lot of problems with you people, and now you're going to hear about it. But no Christmas tree. I find tinsel very distracting. We have a Festivus pole at my house as well.
Okay. Well, I'll look forward to seeing that on Facebook. So, hey, you take care. Have a very Merry Christmas and a great New Year. Keep in touch. Come back anytime. And anything that we can do here for Westland, just give me a shout out.
Great. Will do, Carrie. Thanks for having me on. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and go Lions.
Absolutely. All right. Take care, Mike. Say hi to everybody in Westland.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Mike McDermott, Westland City Council President. Once again, you can call Mike at 734-890-2146 or email him at mmcdermott@cityofwestland.com. Great guy. Had some really good information. All right, moving on. The next city council meeting is going to be Monday, December 9th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers located at 6000 Middlebelt Road. These meetings are a good way for you to get involved and voice any concerns that you may have as well. All right, I'm going to do a shortened, abbreviated version of events tonight. Mike isn't here. We're running a little long, so I will do that. So let's do the community events. All right. Garden City Senior Center Board Game Day, fourth Tuesday of each month, 10 a.m. Card games, board games, friendship, free. The event is open to ages 50 and older, and that is at the Radcliffe Center. The carpet cleaner, carpet cleaning he does, tile and grout cleaning, upholstery cleaning, hardwood floor cleaning, residential and commercial. Call Dennis Dykman at 734-299-6496. Also, don't forget Penny Bingo over at the Radcliffe Center. First and fourth Wednesday of every month, 1 to 2 p.m., 25 cents per bingo card. Bring lots of pennies. Pennies are used as bingo markers, ages 50 and over. For all your notary needs, call 734-469-8821. The Notary Babe, Shannon Coffee. Sticks and Pucks schedule, $12. Sundays, 1:30 to 2:50. Tuesdays, 1:30 to 2:50. Thursdays, 1:30 to 2:50. Friday, 5 to 6:20. That's $12. Senior Center has yoga classes. Yoga is a gentle way to improve your posture, balance, and coordination. There are the hours Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and drop in for $6, punch card for $36. Punch card includes 8 visits, and that's at the community center. Acrylic painting, first and second Friday of every month, 1 p.m. at Radcliffe Center, ages 18 and older. Tickets are $8. Register now. Visit the Radcliffe Center or register online at gardencitymi.org/senior center. Thursdays at Robert Lee School of Dance, Zumba. Zumba Gold, 12 to 12:45 is $7. Zumba Toning, 1 to 2, only $10. Bring a friend for free. Pause your problems, join the party. Boost your mood in Zumba class. We are shrinking everything but your smiles. Straight Farmhouse Museum, 6221 Merriman Road in Garden City, open Wednesdays and Saturdays, noon to 3 p.m. for tours. For event information, go to thestraightfarmhouse.org. They have a lot of events going on there. Wayne County Veteran Services every Tuesday and Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30 p.m., located at the Radcliffe Center. Call Wayne County to make an appointment, 313-506-0302. Also, American Legion Department of Veterans Affairs, every Tuesday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Please call to make an appointment, 313-964-6640 or 517-243-5991. And this is really great because you don't have to go downtown anymore. Angels AIDS, Stephanie Peters, call 248-818-5334. They will take care of all your needs for seniors and disabled. She does a plethora of stuff for you. Open skating at the Ice Arena every Tuesday and Thursday, 12 to 1:20. $7 for adults, $6 for kids, $3 for skate rental. Parents' Night Out at the Garden City Rec Center there. Games, crafts, and pizza, $20 per person, ages 5 to 12. Next one is December 20th, and then January they have one in February. It's a way for the parents to get out and they'll watch your kids for you. Drop-in hockey, Mondays, 11 a.m. to 12:45. Wednesdays, 11 a.m. to 12:45. Fridays, 11 a.m. to 12:45. The cost is $12. Sign-up start at 10 a.m. Junior Volunteer Club, need volunteer hours or just looking for ways to get involved? If yes, then this is the perfect club for you. Open age is 10 to 17. The next one is Tuesday, January 14th. At the Radcliffe Center, 4 to 5:30 at the Radcliffe Center. You need to register ahead of time. Garden City Senior Center presents Bunko Game Day, 1 to 3 p.m. at the Radcliffe Center, second and fourth Mondays of every month. Begins Monday, November 25th. Prizes awarded for most bunkos, high score, second high score, low score, and money cup. Ages 50 and up, $5 per person to join. Letters to Santa. Don't forget your letters. Make sure to drop off your letters before Friday, December 13th in order to receive a letter back. And that is at the, they have a mailbox there. You can drop them off inside the City Hall, 6000 Middle Belt Road. Craft Day, create faux snow covered mason jar luminaries for the holiday season. Saturday, December 7th, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. $10 per person, all ages, at the Radcliffe Center. Garden City High School Theater Department presents Craft and Vendor Show. 135 tables, $2 admission. Door prize raffle, concessions, and bake sale December 7th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And that is at the Garden City High School, 6500 Middle Belt Road. Join Garden City Senior Center for bingo at the Rec. Get ready to shout out bingo and win an amazing prize at this fun-filled event. You will play multiple rounds of classic game, and there will be plenty of opportunities to win big. First and third Monday of each month, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., ages 50 and older, $5 per person. Any questions, call 734-793-1870. Neighborhood Watch is back the second Tuesday of every month, 7 p.m. at the Garden City Police Station. Next meeting, December the 10th. Garden City Senior Center presents their Christmas party Friday, December 13th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at the Radcliffe Center, ages 50 and older. Music, catered lunch, giveaways, 50-50 raffle. Tickets are $20. More for, please call 734-793-1870. Breakfast with Santa. Tell jolly old St. Nicholas what you would like for Christmas over breakfast and take a picture with him. $12 for adults, $6 for kids. 2 and under are free. Saturday, December 14th from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Radcliffe Center. You must register in advance. Call 734-793-1850. Skate with Santa Claus. Get ready for a magical encounter as Santa Claus himself pays a visit to spread holiday cheer. Bring the whole family for a special skating event where kids can share their wishes, snap festive photos, and experience the joy of the season. That's December 15th from 12 to 1:20 at the Garden City Ice Arena. Masco presents Night of Lights, Santa Paws, Pet Night, Sunday, December 15th, 5 to 8 p.m. Bring your favorite furry friend to visit and take pictures with Santa and Mrs. Claus and take a stroll among the village. That's at the Livonia Greenmead Historical Village. Livonia Civic Chorus presents Scenes of December. All tickets are $15. Sunday, December 15th, 3 p.m. at Christ Our Savior Lutheran Church, 14175 Farmington Road in Livonia. Christmas cupcake decorating, Friday, December 20th, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., all ages. Children 6 and under must be accompanied by an adult. $12 for each person. Register online at gardencitymi.org/park/specialty classes. MJR Theaters presents Movies for Mutts. Saturday, December 21st, a private screening of Disney's Mufasa, 1:30 p.m. at MJR Theaters in Westland. To purchase tickets, go to tailwaggers1990.org. $25 per person. Includes ticket, popcorn, gummy bears, and drink, plus 1 refill of popcorn and drink. That's a pretty good deal. Elf Workshop. Kids will choose a craft to make and wrap it as a gift to give to a family member or friend. Sweets and treats will be enjoyed, and there will be a special visit from Santa. Saturday, December 21st, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., $10 per child and $5 per sibling, ages 5 to 12. Henry Ford Museum of Innovation, Monday, January 13th, $28 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will meet you at the museum. Lunch is not included, but there will be places to purchase food. Dance Express tumbling classes, 6-week session, $30, January 7th to February 11th. Tuesdays, 4:30 to 5:20 for 3 to 4-year-olds, 5:30 to 6:20 for 5 to 7-year-olds, 6:30 to 7:20 for 5 to 7-year-olds, 7:30 to 8:20 for 8 to 10-year-olds. And that's at the Ratcliffe Center. Garden City Senior Center presents Detroit Institute of Arts Thursday, February 20th, 2025, 12 p.m. to around 3:30 p.m. The DIA will be providing the transportation. Bus pickup will be at 12 p.m. at the Ratcliffe Center. This is a free trip, but you must register in advance. You can register at Ratcliffe Center online at gardencitymi.org/senior center. And that's all I got. That's not an abbreviated version. That is the whole version. So I want to give a big thanks to our guest, Mike McDermott, Westland Council President. Once again, you can contact him at 734-890-2146 or email him at mmcdermott@cityofwestland.com. Also, a big thank you to my fantastic co-host, Dr. Tom Iwinski. Did a great job tonight. A lot of good weather information. Also, a huge shout out and thank you to each and every one of you for sharing part of your time with us tonight and every week. We appreciate it. We're celebrating 14 years on air, 685 shows, and we owe it all to you. So thank you very much. Remember, this show will be available right after we sign off tonight on Facebook. So we hope you'll catch it at your convenience, especially if you tuned in late or you watched the Lions game. Just go to facebook.com/GCChat and feel free to share the show with your friends. Also, catch us over on our YouTube channel. Just search for the Garden City Community Chat Show. You'll find not only this show, but all our past shows as well. Click on the live tab button and please subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button. And we would appreciate that. And at the end of our shows, we always like to thank all the healthcare workers, first responders, police and fire, everyone on the front lines who serve and protect us every day. We can't thank you enough. Be safe, and we want you to know that you and your families are in our thoughts and prayers every day. And whenever you see any of these heroes, please let them know how much you appreciate them. Also, remember the success of a community depends on the community, so please support your local businesses. And please don't hesitate, vaccinate. Get that COVID booster and your flu shot. Remember, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting others as well. And if you see something, say something. We need to look out for one another out there. For all your weather information, be sure to head on over to drtomsweather.com. He's got a great user-friendly website over there. Good weather information. So we hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to contact any of us here at the chat for any reason, once again, the email is gccommunitychat@gmail.com. We do like to hear from our listeners. Let us know how we're doing and what you'd like to see more of. We'll see you next week, December 12th. So until then, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/GCChat and over on our YouTube channel. Just search for the Garden City Community Chat Show. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your week. Stay warm and good night.